So today I just wanted to do two things really quick. One, introduce you guys to something new at Monarch for this upcoming year, fall 2016. And second, to give you a sneak peek of the history class that I'll be teaching. So, when you look at curriculums, sometimes it can be really overwhelming. Here, for example, is my history class, and it is chock full of information. Such a great curriculum. I'm really excited to teach it. Lots of different readings, different assignments, lesson plans, different historical standards and different mission critical skills that we're going to hit throughout the year. But it can be a little bit overwhelming to look at this. You have the units that go by and the week by week, and each week there's a lot of information that we cover. So this year at Monarch, we are going to be using something called KidBlog. And this is KidBlog. See, right off the bat already, how much less intimidating is this? I'm really excited because this is going to give the kids a platform where they can come see everything that they need to accomplish in a week and be able to get it done really quick. So at the same time, kind of an introduction to KidBlog and to the history class, I want to just go through a couple of weeks and show you what it's going to look like. Right off the bat, this is one class. Each student in KidBlog will have a doc or a dashboard where they can see all of their classes. So right down here below for me, I have multiple classes loaded already. So they would have one square for each of their classes. They would go into the class, and on the right-hand sidebar, you can see here's your mentor and an email for your mentor. Here's the Zoom link to your classroom for once a week in your live class. You would just click on this Zoom link and boom, you'd be logged into the online classroom where you can see all the other students and the teacher and be ready for your live class. Off to the side as well, you have different unit categories and then one category for each week. Now, it's by clicking on these categories that it pulls up all the relevant information. If you just scroll through the blog, there's a mess of posts and it's hard to make sense of them. So that's why we go over and we click Week 0, Introduction Week. Now, we're going to have an orientation week at Monarch this year where all of the mentors will be in their classrooms and you'll get the opportunity to stop by, say hi to them, get introductions, make sure your Zoom link is working and that you get registered for the KidBlog of that class. And I'm really excited about that. Everyone, by the time we get to week 1, they'll be ready to go. So here's week 1 in my class. Now, I have all the information in this intro to week 0, and it tells you exactly how to use the blog, and it says that the yellow means reading assignments and the blue means an activity. So if we use our back button and come back to week 0, it's really easy for the kids just at a glance to say, okay, I have 4 things to read and 1 thing to do. Likewise, if we go to the next week, you've got 1 thing to read and 2 things to do. Now, in addition, in my history class, we have map work that we do, and we have timeline work that we do. Now, this is by unit, so I include them in each week, but it's a little separate than the blue and the yellow assignments because the students could finish them early or they could spend, each of the weeks during the unit, which are usually 3 to 4 weeks long, to complete it. So just again, you'll notice that there's always an intro to the week, your assignments, and then I have a weekly roundup. This is something else that I'm really excited that we're implementing this year. Let's go to week 3 and just click on that weekly roundup. There it goes, it loaded. Each week, or in some classes each unit, there's going to be different mission critical skills that we've been focusing on. Now, if you want to know more about mission critical skills, head back over to monarchwebwork.com and click on the How We Teach under the About Us tab, and you'll see more information there. But in the weekly roundup, especially for my history class, I'm highlighting the skills that we've been working on. So, for example, during week 3, we were working on being a creative and practical problem solver. So they are, let's see, it goes, I am working on skills that help me to construct clear and insightful problem statements with evidence of all the relevant contextual factors. I'm learning that there are multiple approaches to a problem within a specific context. I am building my creative thinking abilities by embracing contradictions. I am beginning to synthesize these contradictions and extend unique questions, ideas, products to create new knowledge or knowledge that crosses boundaries. So these are all creative thinking and creative and practical problem solver type mission skills. But how do we actually evaluate that? We don't have grades at Monarch. So how are you as a parent supposed to understand, well, is my child grasping the content? Are they doing a good job? And for students themselves to be able to say, am I really understanding what I'm learning? What am I getting out of this? Is this even worth it? That's really important for the children themselves to be able to recognize. So that's what this next section is for, the I can statements. So you go through each of the statements and they will be asking themselves, and you with them in this discussion. This should be a really great discussion at the end of each unit or the end of each week, depending on the class and how the mentor has formulated it. And you ask yourselves, does my child, do they know this yet? Or can they do this with help? Or maybe your child says, I've got this. I understand, I've got this. So you'll be asking questions like, can you list different groups of people that lived in the Middle Ages? Or can you evaluate contradicting theories on how these groups interacted? You would, in the conversation with your child, make it a little bit more casual and just ask them to describe to you, can you tell me about some different groups and how they interacted? You would say, let's see, can you evaluate lasting effects of the military conquest? So you would bring up conversations about, tell me about the military movements in the area. Where was the fighting happening? What were they doing? Can you tell me any improvements that were made in the Middle Ages? What kind of things were invented? And then they would list maybe some things, and you'd say, well, how do you know that? That would be providing evidence for these achievements or these advancements. In class, I'm excited because this year we're going to be really looking at a lot of historical documents. We're going to be going straight to the source and reading them, and I'm going to help the kids to really be able to explain what they're reading, to be able to put it into context of the time period, and then be able to take that knowledge and apply it to their lives today. They're reading all of these accounts of the Middle Ages, but why is that important to their life right now? How could that make them a better person right now? And by better person, I mean, can that actually help them in whatever mission that it is that they, that God has sent them here to do? So I hope to make it really applicable, to make history applicable in their lives today. And just really excited about this new platform that we have on KidBlog. I'll pull up 1 week again. And how easy it's going to be for the students to just run through it. So, last year we provided you with these spreadsheets to be able to organize what you were doing with your kids each week. But this year, you can still go through with your kids and read and do the activities, but it's in a format that when you're busy and when life is happening, the kids will be able to very easily look at this themselves and go through the different activities. And then we give you all the rubrics, all of the evaluation skills at the end, or the evaluation metrics, to be able to see if they're retaining what they need to retain, and if they're getting something or anything out of the class. And then, as you go on, you can adjust. Maybe this week they didn't get as much as you think that they could, and that's a really good indication week by week to say, okay, are we doing all the reading? Are we working on this class every day? In this history class, it's going to be every day you need to be working on something to get it done. But I promise you it'll be worth it, and I am so excited. So that is just a little sneak peek of the history class and of the new platform that we're using in KidBlog. If you have any questions, remember you can always get a hold of me at Randy at monarchwebwork.com. Can't wait to see you in the fall.